Today I'm going to show an example of the Student Assessment Standard Comparison Report in Elluminate. I'm already logged into a school, you can see up here. So I'm going to go to Reports, List Reports under the General tab. Click on Pre-Built and Update. And here's the report I'm interested in. It's the Student Assessment Standard Comparison Report. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it. Again, I'm coming in at school level, so here's my school. I'm going to go ahead and pick a single teacher. Notice a little red box that popped up very quickly in that right-hand corner. What it's doing is it's going out and filtering all of these assessments and all of the standards for this teacher for all of her students. If I go ahead and pick one of the courses, again, it's filtering again. And maybe I'm interested in just her third period class. So I'm going to pick on the third period section. So what it did is it went out for all of her third period students, found all of the assessments that they've taken, and all of the standards that are associated with those assessments. You can see there's quite a few of them here, and quite a few standards. There's language arts, there's some math standards, and there's some science standards down at the bottom. If I click on one of the assessments, let me click on the LAFT pre-assessment for grade 8. Notice what happens. It automatically filters the top standards, so the only standards that are showing are the standards associated with the assessments that I've clicked on. As an example, if I click on the algebra assessment, normally you wouldn't compare algebra and LAFT, but for an example, you'll see that now I have a math standard showing up. Let me take off the algebra. Math standard goes away. Unclick the pre-assessment. Now I've got all the standards back. The opposite holds true. If I were to come in and click on a single standard, it will automatically filter the assessments, so only the assessments that have that single standard on them will show up. In this case, there's 2 of them. So for my example report today, I'm going to pick on the LAFT pre-assessment for grade 8. Notice it automatically filters. And 8.1 LAFT. These 2 have the same assessments, so nothing really changed up here. And I could run a report for all of my assessments. Might be a little bit too much. I'm going to go ahead and just pick on 2 standards. Notice it filters back the other way too. And at this point I can go ahead and run my report. Notice the checkbox here. It says show the % correct column in the report. I'm going to leave that checked for right now. I'll show you what that does in a minute. So let me go ahead and hit download. And I'm using Chrome. So down in the lower left hand corner my report shows up. Let me click on it. Opens up the Excel spreadsheet for my report. I'm going to very quickly come in here and just clear out all those student names. I really don't want the names showing up there. And let's go ahead and make this a little bit more readable. So here are the 2 standards that I asked for in my report. Reading Comprehension 2.1, Reading Comprehension 2.2. Here are the 2 assessments that span my report, LAFT pre-assessment and 8.1 LAFT. So let's see what this report is showing me. So for my first student, whose name that I've hidden for right now, on the pre-assessment there were 2 questions on that standard. This student got 2 out of 2 correct. For standard 2.1 on the 8.1 LAFT there were 2 questions. Student got 2 out of 2 correct. So across both assessments for this standard, the student got 4 out of 4 correct, or 100%. You notice this student down below got 3 questions correct out of a total 4 for 75%. Same thing happens with the next standard that I picked, which was 2.2. Now if you notice this % correct column right here, in my report, that checkbox that I left checked is what's responsible for this column. If I had unchecked that and run my report again, this column would not be here. At the very far right of the report, the last 2 columns are an overall view of the pre-assessment LAFT and the 8.1 LAFT, the 2 assessments that I asked for on my report. This is telling me that there were 75 total questions on the pre-LAFT. This student got 77.3% correct on the total LAFT, pre-LAFT. For 8.1 left, there were a total of 75 questions. This student got 73.3% correct. So if these two columns were the only thing that you were interested in, and if you weren't interested in the standards report, you could have always come over here, highlight those columns, say delete, and now I could get a quick report on just the overall performance on these two assessments. I'm going to put my standards back. I was more interested in those. So this is an overview of the Student Assessment Standard Comparison Report in Elluminate.